me now, old friend Corey Lewandowski, longtime Trump advisor, is going to give us the update and the lowdown in New Hampshire. Corey, welcome. Happy New Year. Let me just get your take. Here's something President Trump said last night. I want to get your take on it in a second. Please listen.
As you know, Nikki Haley in particular is counting on the Democrats and liberals to infiltrate your Republican primary. You know that. That's what's happening. You have a group of people coming in that are not Republicans, and it's artificially boosting her numbers here.
So, Corey, President's not wrong, but what do you think? You're from New Hampshire. You've run New Hampshire primaries in the past, done a pretty good job of it. How do you assess this, Boston, suburb, liberal, left, Democrats and independents voting for Haley? What do you make of it, Corey?
Well, Larry, look, New Hampshire has changed. It wasn't that long ago where we were the beacon of conservatism in New England. Those days are now over. And what we're seeing in the Trump race, when you look at the Suffolk poll that came out today, if you just polled the Republicans, Donald Trump beats Nikki Haley by 37 points, 61-24. When you add in everybody who has the opportunity to vote in the primary next Tuesday, which are the independents or what we call unaffiliated voters here in New Hampshire, Donald Trump continues to maintain a 16-point lead, 50% to 34%. Ron DeSantis is at 5%, undecided is at 6%. What does that mean? It means the bump that Nikki was supposed to get coming out of Iowa has not transpired. Vivek drops out of the race. By and large, his voters are going to support Donald Trump. We saw that endorsement last night in Atkinson, New Hampshire. So Donald Trump is poised here in my home state of New Hampshire to not only win the primary by a massive margin, but to get over 50%, which should really finalize the Haley campaign to an end.
Corey, how do you read the voters now? Biggest issue. It turns out in Iowa, for example, yes, the economy, very, very important, but it was immigration and the catastrophe at the border. What's the biggest issue in New Hampshire that you can see?
Well, immigration is still clearly the #1 issue. Look, we are a border state now. We're a northern border state, and the crisis isn't as severe there. But we have seen multiple occasions where people are coming across the northern border because it is also not closed and coming into our country to do harm to us. We have no idea where they go once they get into the country. And if we do happen to stop them, we're giving them a response to come back and see us in 5 years so we can have a court hearing to decide what to do with you. So the issue of illegal immigration continues to resonate across this country. It is the single biggest crisis facing us. And if we don't do something to close both our northern and southern borders, we won't be a country much longer, Larry.
And if Mr. Trump wins in New Hampshire, as we reckon he will, I guess Nikki Haley goes to South Carolina, and after South Carolina, she will drop out. I don't want to get too far ahead of the story, but that's what it looks like to me. You're the political advisor. What do you think?
Look, I think Donald Trump does win in New Hampshire. Here in the state of New Hampshire, we apportion our delegates. There are 22 delegates available, and you get the delegates based on how much of the vote percentage you get. So Donald Trump's going to win the plurality of those delegates for sure. He's going to go to Nevada, which is next. He's going to win there in the caucus. And then we'll see if Nikki Haley has any strength in her home state of South Carolina. And if she doesn't, because the vast majority of elected officials in South Carolina are with Donald Trump, there is no justification for staying in the race. Even John Kasich, Larry, you remember in 2016, won his home state. The way the polls look right now, Nikki won't have that luxury.
All right, that's going to be a big problem for her. Vivek, going to help you all in New Hampshire get the libertarian vote out?
Oh, you bet. Look, Vivek made a great endorsement of President Trump last night. Most of the people who are supporting Vivek are Trump supporters in general. And now that he is on the Trump train, you're going to see his team continue to come on board. And those people who liked his message love the Trump message. So we'll see them coming over to the Trump campaign. And that is going to impact us on Election Day. Vivek was at about 5 or 6% in New Hampshire. I think all of that goes to Trump. And the poll today clearly indicates Donald Trump is the runaway favorite.
Yeah, he was just on the show. He was my lead guest on the show. He's such a terribly smart guy. I'm glad he ran, Corey. I'm also glad he, finally withdrew, and I'm glad he is campaigning with President Trump. I think it's very constructive, very positive. Corey Lewandowski, you know what? You're just as smart as you always were. And we appreciate your coming on the show. All right.